Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. It's Julia Mills. It is Thursday again, and I am excited to be here with you today. And thanks for joining. I am, like I said, really excited because I have got a dear friend and colleague that I have the honor and opportunity to work with LifeVantage, and that is Marco Rodriguez, who is Zooming in from El Paso, Texas. Hi, Marco. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Julia, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So we have about 15 minutes or so today, and Marco has an incredible story, and he's a healer, and he spends his time helping children and adults with brain injury and issues related to different neurological conditions. So it's very exciting to work with him. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read his biography first. And then I'm going to ask some questions, and he's going to share his story with us, because that's really what's most important, is our story, and learn a little bit about you today, Marco. So as I said, I had the great pleasure to meet Marco and his wife, Diane, occupational therapists, a couple years ago at our Science and Business Conference. And I think, Marco, it was Anaheim, California, if I'm not mistaken. I was immediately impressed with Marco and Diane, and although we are both very busy with full-time jobs and with part-time LifeVantage, we've stayed connected ever since, and I'm really thankful for that. Even though I'm in Raleigh and you're in Texas, it really doesn't matter with technology.
Right.
Marco and his wife Diane partnered with LifeVantage as independent distributors and members of the LifeVantage Doctors Group in 2018. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. They are building a global business and a legacy, generating nearly $250,000 in product sales per year. This additional side business allows them to expand their reach outside their clinic to help people achieve better health, no matter where they live. Marco has been an occupational therapist for 28 years. During that time, he's won multiple awards for his commitment to quality while working with the Sierra Providence Health Network. He was also one of 5 selected out of over 3,000 to develop one of the first fully integrated electronic health records of its kind in the country. That's impressive. In 2018, he was awarded the Distinguished Alumni Award from the University of Texas Medical Branch School of Health Professionals, which is the highest honor given at that institution. In addition, Marco was the keynote speaker at the 2018 Health Professionals graduation, as well as being special guest speaker at their 50th anniversary celebration. That's awesome. In 2013, Marco and his lovely wife, Diane, established Transformations Rehab in El Paso, Texas, which is now one of the largest outpatient rehab clinics of its kind in the country. Congratulations. Marco also serves on the board of directors for the Autism Society in Texas, in El Paso, Texas. So, wow, amazing.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride. These past 10 years have been a lot of fun, and really blessed. We've had a lot of opportunities. So,
well, that's what we want to talk about today. So we want to get to know your journey, your story here. And so I'm going to ask you, I think I sent you these 4 questions, but again, this is just a discussion. So feel free to just expand on whatever you'd like to expand on today. But I think, tell us a little bit about your family and your professional background, and maybe what was happening in your life when you found LifeVantage, and kind of who shared it with you.
So, well, first of all, thank you again. Thanks again for the opportunity to be here. And my journey into LifeVantage was kind of a strange one. I was initially contacted by Patsy Caulfield in mid-2015, but it wasn't until the timing just wasn't right. So I really wouldn't sit down with her at all and even see what was going on. It wasn't until 2018 that some things changed in our life, and we just thought part of it was because I've known Patsy and her whole family since high school, and so 3 years of her following up with me, after a while I kind of felt guilty that I hadn't sat down with her and then taken a look at this, and so I did. I sat down with her, and it just absolutely blew my mind. Because what I saw there just was it was revolutionary for me. Now, I've always been into health and wellness. I've been, as you mentioned, I've been a therapist for 28 years. And most of my career, I worked in inpatient rehab, knee replacements, hip replacements, laminectomies. You know, it's something that I thought back to my early days, in that most of my patients that came into that inpatient rehab with all these different issues, these different types of surgeries. But one thing that I found was that they all seem to have what we call the same types of comorbidities. In other words, they were all pre-diabetic or diabetic. They all seem to have pre-hypertension or hypertension. They all seem to have a cholecystectomy, a removal of the gallbladder. So they had all this list of comorbidities. And I remember thinking back then, my God, this is where we're all heading. I'm looking into a crystal ball and I'm seeing my own future. So when I saw the LifeVantage opportunity, I thought, well, even back then, and let me go back a little bit. Back then, I thought, okay, I got to do everything I can to take preemptive action to minimize those risks for myself. And so I did. I've always been into health and wellness. I take care of myself. And so when I saw this, I thought, wow, this goes right along with what I'd been doing with my lifestyle. Of course, Diane, my wife, she's famous for saying that when she saw the anti-aging properties of this, she was all over it. But more than that, I looked at what this could possibly do for my patients. Now, in our clinic, we see a lot of children with ADD, ADHD, autism, a lot of other neurologic atypicalities. And you can't go to a conference these days for this population without someone talking about nutrition, how important nutrition is. But they always seem to talk about the problems, but no one ever really had solutions. So in a lot of my research, I realized that a lot of these kids have these common biomarkers, such as a lot of them have very low levels of, or 78 to 80% of them have low levels of glutathione. That's really important because glutathione is an enzyme that detoxifies your body. Well, when I saw the LifeVantage opportunity, I saw that this boosts glutathione by 300%. I thought, oh, there's something. These kids tend to have high levels of oxidative stress. So I saw that this reduced oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days and up to 70% in 120 days. I thought, wow, that's number two. 78 to 80% of these kids have mitochondrial dysfunction. I thought, well, wait a second, RNRF1 activates the cells into a state of mitochondrial biogenesis, so it could actually help with improvements in mitochondria. And you have gut health and, of course, brain inflammation. So I didn't see this, and this is certainly not a cure for autism or ADHD or any of that stuff. But I thought, but if these are the common biomarkers that these kids have, maybe it could help. So I started thinking about the possibility of what this could do to help our kids. And I've never been afraid to think outside the box. But obviously I was very hesitant because these are my patients, and I certainly don't want to recommend something unless I have my own proof. So I dove into the research, and I realized that, of course, this has been studied by Harvard and LSU. LSU studied it on skin cancer. Johns Hopkins studied it with lung cancer. The American Heart Association, the National Institute of Health did a 10-year study on this. So I thought, well, the research is there, and if this can do what they say it can do, maybe it would help my son, Seth. Now, Seth, when he's now 17, but when he was about 7 years old, he had a TBI. The summer camp had a TBI. We did neurofeedback with him. We did all the therapies we could with him, and he did survive, thank God. But he was in special education for over 8 years. So I thought, if this can do what they say it can do with axonal genesis and with the neurogenesis, maybe it would help him. So we started biohacking with him, and suffice to say that the results were above and beyond what I ever expected. Within 16 weeks, he not only tested out of special education, but in Texas, we have what's called a STAR test. Second kid to finish in his class. Every year he would just barely make it, or he was, they test him and he was, back in special education again. Well, this did for him in 16 weeks what 8 years of therapy couldn't do. Now, maybe it's a coincidence, but I've seen a lot of coincidences, enough to say that there's got to be more to it. So he tested out of special education. Now he's a senior in high school. And not only is he not in special education anymore, but 5 out of his 8 or 9 classes are an advanced placement where he's getting dual credit for college. So I got excited about that. Now, I always ask the question, Julia, if something like that happened to you, what would you do? Would you keep it to yourself or would you share it with other people? So I got excited and went into my clinic and I started telling people about it. I'm thinking, again, I'm the very cautious about the way I say it. So I started telling people about it and I had, several people come up to me and ask me, well, do you think it would help me with this? Do you think it'd help me with that? I don't know, maybe it would. And so we had some people that started to try it. They have nothing to lose. It's all natural. And so there's no drug interaction. So they tried it and we started to see the results. And I have a saying that you can't argue with the two R's, research and results. Mm-hmm. We saw the research was there, and then we started to experience the results. So we got really excited about it and we just kind of took off with it. And again, that was in April of 2018. And I am forever grateful to Patsy for hanging in there. And, for 3 years, imagine that, for 3 years, she just continued to follow up with us every now and then. She didn't bother us or anything like that, but she just kept in touch. Mm-hmm. And on behalf of my family and of course, all of my patients, we are really forever grateful to her. So sorry if that was a little bit too long, but that's kind of our story.
Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, what you just shared there is just so important. It's what I have found too is if you can talk to enough people and hear their experiences and their results, if you can take the time to do the research and just be open and just see who you can help. I feel like I've been blessed too. I've seen some very incredible results over the years, and I feel very thankful, and I feel a moral responsibility. What's interesting, working in the LifeVantage Doctors Group with you and coming from the pharmaceutical industry and working with the LifeVantage Doctors Group and hearing the medical providers say, we have a moral responsibility to share this. It is our responsibility. And I believe that wholeheartedly. It sounds like you do too.
Absolutely. It's something that people ask us, how do we feel about sharing this with whether it be patients or family members? And that's the word that I use. I mean, it becomes a moral obligation to share. Not only what it did for my son Seth, but even what it's done for me. I'm 52 years old, and I just began because what I saw with Seth. I thought, well, I'm going to biohack with him, and so about 14 months later, I went and got my blood work done, and all my biomarkers. It was so funny because my doctor's looking at it, and he's kind of puzzled. And I had my lipid peroxidase test, the oxidative stress test, and all this, and everything came back consistent with about a 24 to 25-year-old man. So he kind of looked at it and he thought, this is kind of strange, Mr. Rodriguez. And I thought, no, it's not strange at all. Let me tell you what this is about. So I walk around saying, I'm 52, but really I'm like 25.
I feel the same way. And you do feel better. Energy,
concentration,
right? Recovery from sports and training. I mean, it's just like we felt years ago. Watch the ABC News report, right?
Yeah, less than a year ago, I started training in MMA. Not that I'm going to compete in anything, but it was just really a lot of fun. I like competition. Yep. I was a football player in high school, so I like the contact. And there's not really a lot of men my age that are willing to go out and play football anymore. But the young kids, I feel a lot better, but I'm not ready to go out there with the young fellows. So, but I thought MMA is kind of a cool sport, so I started doing that, and I feel so much better. So again, you can't argue with the results.
Absolutely. So you are in healthcare, I'm in healthcare, and I guess we've got just about 3 more minutes here. So I've shared this with a lot of people, and some take the time to look at it and are as impressed as we are, and some take their time like you did. And actually, that happened to me too, kind of early on. I saw it, I couldn't believe it, but I didn't really understand this because I had never been a part of a direct selling company. So I didn't really understand it. So I guess, how has this changed your life financially, your future, some of the things that some opportunities you now have, and how do you, share this with your colleagues? I guess maybe to leave it like that.
So, I guess what this has done for us in terms of changing our life, it's really given us it's given us a plan B, right? I mean, you just never really know what's going to happen in healthcare. And there's a lot of, if there's any physicians out there, any other therapists, anyone who's in private practice, you just never really know what's going to happen out there. And you need to have a plan B. Now, I have several friends of mine that are surgeons, and they get paid very well, but they're not really in business for themselves. They're really more self-employed because everything revolves around them. And so for us, this has given us an opportunity to create something that can grow above and beyond even ourselves. Right now, our business has grown to Canada, across the U.S., Mexico, and even into London. So it's an opportunity to create that leveraged income that you're not really going to have with being in private practice. So, and as far as the way I share it with colleagues, I share it just that I've learned to be a good listener. Yeah. Now, typically, or I've been an INTJ. That's my personality type. So I tend to be a little introverted, but I've learned to kind of get outside myself, outside the box, and I've learned to become just a really good listener and find out what a person's needs are. And so, you have people who ask, do you lead with the product? Do you lead with the business? I lead with what they need. I guess I'm really kind of I just try to focus on having a servant's heart. And when you have a servant's heart, you're not trying to push anything. You're just looking for what their needs are. And so that's how we do it.
I love it. I love it. That's why I think we get along so well, because I think we're in alignment there for sure. And we're just here to try to share really good information that hopefully can help change some lives together. So I really appreciate you spending this time, Marco. I know we've been trying to line this up for a few months now. And thank you for your time, and I hope to see you and Diane again soon.
Absolutely, Julie. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Take care. Talk to you soon.
All right, God bless you. Have a good day.
Bye.